You have got to join us for today's discussion with Alex Hollander from California. Alex went from being a pastor to the face of real estate in his community in less than 2 years. Join us today and hear about how Alex built his business and leveraged social media to complete an amazing 18 transactions in his first year and became a finalist for the RIS Media Rookie of the Year.
Welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission, where we dive into real stories, big wins, and early lessons learned from highly successful rookie real estate agents and brokers. This is the series where we explore how real estate transforms lives, one home at a time, by sitting down each week with a new agent or broker who has found incredible success in their first year. Your hosts are instructors and leaders at Colibri Real Estate School, one of the largest real estate educators in the nation, where we focus on helping people like you get started or find continued success in their careers.
Hello, and welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. I'm your host, Tina Lapp. I've been in real estate education for over 30 years, and I love helping individuals enter and thrive in their careers.
And hi, my name is Adam Ashba, co-host. I'm a real estate broker here in this great state of Ohio, Colibri Real Estate and Honduras College instructor, and I'm happy to be here co-hosting with Tina.
Thank you. We are here today with Alex Hollander. Alex, will you take a moment to introduce yourself, where you live, and what company you're with?
Sure. Hey, Tina. Hey, Adam. My name is Alex Hollander, as she said. I go by the face of SCV Real Estate out here where I live in Southern California. I'm in a suburb called Santa Clarita, which is, about 20 minutes south of Los Angeles. So that's kind of where I'm at and where I operate out of. And currently I'm with Equity Union, which is a local brokerage out here in Southern California.
All right. Well, Alex, I got a lot of questions for you.
Okay.
One, you have a great tan because you're in Southern Los Angeles. But let's go into why did you get in real estate? What did you do before you got into real estate? Let's start with that.
Yeah.
So what did you do before your real estate life?
So I'm one of those guys who's jumped a lot of careers and taken huge leaps when I take those careers. So I started out in property management, just being an on-site resident manager, and I did that for a little while and kind of rose in the ranks in that company and became the operations manager for a very large property management company. And while I was doing that, I actually found my faith and got into Christianity. And through that process, I eventually ended up being asked to come on staff at a church and grew in those ranks and became the pastor of a church. So I was pastoring a church for about 5 years under the role of associate pastor. But during COVID, our church got shut down. And so when it got shut down, I basically was laid off. And so I was at home with my wife, who is in real estate. She's a transaction coordinator. So she oversees files for real estate agents. And this is the first time I was at home listening to her work. And I was hearing her on the phone with agents all day during COVID. And I realized a lot of agents don't know what they're doing. They're not the brightest people, and
Alex, that's not true. We're all smart.
Well,
especially us brokers, right?
For sure. But I had asked my wife, I think I can do what they're doing. Is this something that you think I should get into? And she said, you would probably do really, really well. So at that point, she had encouraged me to kind of go out and try to get my license. And once I got licensed, I just kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah. So, would you have to say your wife inspired you to become a real estate agent?
For sure.
Was she your best cheerleader? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I guess so your property management, which I did, I get it. It's tough to be a pastor and a property manager because you got to evict people and you might feel bad about it, but I guess my question is what clicked in your mind to say, you know what, I'm going to do this? Is it just hearing your wife talk to those other agents?
Yeah.
And understanding that, what inspired you to make that plunge?
Well, COVID was a pivot point for, I think, a lot of people. So when the pastor path or, the ministry path basically came to a halt, it was okay, what can I do in the meantime to make money? And it just seemed like something that was pretty natural to me to just talk to people. I don't really look at real estate as a sales job, even though, I think a lot of people do think it is. I really think I'm just communicating with people and assisting them and listening to them and hearing what they do, which is exactly what I did in ministry. So when you take the ministry portion and then you take the property management side of things, I just felt like being a real estate agent was a perfect blend of both. So I feel like there was a lot of stepping stones to get there.
Yeah, I agree. I think real estate's service. I hate the word sales because you're trying to help people achieve their dreams and things like that. So you're a people person, right?
I am.
Would you say so?
But I don't want to like confuse things, because I feel like after my first year in real estate, I like 4X'd my income that I had in ministry. So when I saw all of that put together, I'm helping people, plus I'm making a lot more money doing it, and I'm able to kind of, provide for my family a lot better. It just was a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into the full 4Xing income, because I know a lot of people would want to hear how you did that. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, Alex, walk me through how this all transpired. So it's COVID, decide to switch careers. Tell me about the process of getting your license. How'd you do it? Did you take online classes? Did you go to the classroom? How'd that work?
Yeah, they didn't have classroom classes at that time.
Yeah.
So it was digital, which was easy for me. It was even, I was able to just kind of get on a computer and study and learn. And I kind of expedited things. I went through it as fast as I possibly could have. And then the week of my test, I crammed. I actually, I booked, because I couldn't even take my exam test in the same city that I live because of COVID. There was just backup. And so I drove down to San Diego. I took 2 days. Got a hotel room and just crammed for 2 days in a hotel room without my kids, without my wife, and then took the test. It was fairly simple to do. Just the digital online training portals that they have make things very easy nowadays.
That's great. And it takes some discipline to get through that on your own without somebody pushing you to do it. So obviously you were highly motivated. How long did it take from the time you signed up for classes until you got to your state exam? How long was that process?
I don't remember the exact time frame, but I know it was like the very next day that I legally was allowed to take the exam. I had already like scheduled for the exam. I didn't want to wait. Yeah.
Nice. And when did you study for classes? Like as you're going through the classes and you're so focused, was it at night, in the mornings? How'd you balance the rest of your life with actually getting through the coursework?
Yeah, I think COVID was a blessing for me because, I was used to having a 9-to-5 job. Yeah. And when I started talking to other agents about when I wanted to get into the business, one of the things that a lot of people had told me was, you got to treat this like a 9-to-5 or you're not going to succeed. And I was like, oh, well, that's easy. I'm already doing a 9-to-5. So even the study portion of it, I treated it like a job, because essentially I was unemployed. I was just at home. So I treated it like a job. And once I got licensed, I still to this day treat it like a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of segue. So what expectations did you have your first year? Like, were you thinking about, I got to make money, I got family at home, I'm unemployed, or what did you expect your first year?
Honestly, I expected to do 4 transactions, and I was telling myself,
okay, that's pretty good. That's decent.
Well, I was telling myself, if I could do 1 sale a quarter, I made a little bit more than what I made last year, and I'd be fine.
Okay, yeah. What's an average sale in Southern California? What would be an average home?
Yeah, about $750K.
Okay, we like those. Yeah, those are good ones. Okay, yeah. So I guess you got your license, Alex, and you're starting your first year. How long did it take? Did it take 4 months before you got your first sale?
No. I got a transaction in month 2 closed.
Wow. Okay, right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then how did your first year end up? I guess after that, did you hit your goal of 4?
Yeah, I think I got like 18 closed transactions year
okay.
one. Like year to date,
right.
like not, I think I got licensed in like September. So it was like, September to September.
Okay. So that's like what you should do there, Alex, is mic drop and just leave the podcast. So So good job. Yeah, 18 in your first year. Okay, we're going to dive into that because that's really good. I know a lot of students at home want to know how you got 18. So, I mean, how did you do it? Like, how did you market yourself going from new agent to selling 18 homes in your first year? How did you do it? What kind of marketing did you do, I guess?
Yeah, I thought about it a lot before I even got licensed. One of the things that I knew I was going to encounter, which I think maybe a lot of the people you interview for this segment are going to say, is as a new agent, no one's going to trust you. You know, even people that trust me through like past careers, they know that I'm a brand new agent. So I didn't even expect them to utilize me for services. So my goal going into it was to heavily utilize social media to make it seem like I'm this great agent. So I put a lot of energy and effort into making it look like I'm extremely busy. I'm always doing something real estate related. And in my first year, I didn't transact with anybody I knew. These were all like online leads, people that I was farming, you know, communities that I was working in. It wasn't people that I knew from before. And it wasn't until now that people that I know on a personal level are starting to reach out to me now because they see, you know, the fruits of the labor.
So I always call it like the Kardashian effect, where you can be whatever you want to be online. Is that what you kind of did, Alex? Like you marketed and you just, you know, made yourself look super professional on social media, and that's kind of where a lot of your leads and customers, because no sphere of influence, right?
Yeah,
like no family, friends, nothing like that.
Yeah, it was all digital. In fact, I always was like pivoting against, you know, mentors or brokers, people that around me that would say like, oh, you need to go through your phone, you need to call everyone. Like, these people are not going to hire me to sell their house. They know I just started. It's not. And I think people feel differently because they say go through your phone, but I took a different approach because I was being realistic about like my expectations.
Yeah. Well, other than social media, sounds like you really capitalized on it. And I agree 100%, Alex. It's such a powerful tool. Was there anything else? Like, did you leverage your, you know, being a pastor, or is there anything else that you leveraged?
Yeah.
Your first
day one,
and maybe even today.
Yeah. I immediately like fell in love with the idea of like farming. I just thought it was a cool concept, you know, and an easy concept if you're already like living in a community where you own a house. So I live in a neighborhood which is right across the street from the local elementary school. And I said, that's my target. So I targeted all the houses around that elementary school. And when I got licensed, I made it a goal to be like the real estate agent in my neighborhood, like hands down.
That's good. That's smart.
I think I got licensed in September. In October, what I ended up doing is going to Trader Joe's, like a local grocery store out here. And I'd said, hey, I'm going to buy 100 pumpkins from you. Can you match that? And they said, wow, we never heard that before. Sure. So that I walked out of Trader Joe's with 200 pumpkins in my car. And
you can get 200 pumpkins in your car. Alex, what kind of car do you drive?
At the time, it was a Lexus GX. It was like a soccer mom vehicle.
Pumpkins are rolling out the back and you pop the hatchback. And
the whole thing. Yeah. But I basically, I put 200 pumpkins in my front yard and I advertised a free pumpkin patch. Come get a pumpkin.
Oh, that's good.
And I'll take your data and you can take a pumpkin. And that's how I created my farm. And that was like my first month in the business.
Yeah, that's really smart. I have an agent that did that with mums. And I always thought that was smart. But a pumpkin, yeah. So do you have children that go to that school?
Yeah.
I take it?
Yeah. At the time, I had 4 kids that went to that school.
Oh, okay. So you're well immersed. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else that you did in farming? Like, I mean, do you go door to door, knock, hand out stuff,
all the
mailers?
All the traditional stuff, the mailers.
Okay.
You know, I would do door hangers, events. I mean, during Christmas, I hired the high school choir to come out and Christmas carol in the neighborhood and give gifts to all the outside of the box stuff was kind of like my forte. I got that from my church background because churches do a lot of experiential things for their people. And I kind of
grassroots stuff.
Yeah. And I use that for my business. So I still do stuff like that. I have market share in my farm. You know, I've sold more homes than any team or agent in that farm. And yeah, that's like, I have a stronghold right there. And that's where I started. Yeah.
Is it a neighborhood that there's a lot of like turnover? Does that make sense? Like is these are kind of starter homes? Or second homes for young families?
They're
kind of moving out and up?
Yeah. I mean, where I live in Santa Cruz is very unique. So we're a suburb of Los Angeles. were a little cheaper than if you lived in the city. So what you're seeing is it's almost like a second home for a lot of the people that live in LA. They're coming over to Santa Clarita and they're buying these bigger homes for less money. And so we're seeing a lot of like young families coming up here, or people who had like condos in Los Angeles and are now kind of moving into the suburbs. And then at the same time, there's a lot of like original owners in the community as well. They've owned the homes for 40, 50 years, and they're also moving out. So turnover is like 8%. So it's like I think 8 is a great number for a farm.
Yeah. I think it's, some neighborhoods turn over more than others. I think farming's a really good idea. You just have to make sure you get in the right neighborhood.
Yeah.
So the nice thing is you live there. So your listings aren't too far away. You don't have to get in your car and drive to your listings. You can walk to them sometimes.
Yeah.
Sounds like. So one other question for you. So, I mean, I know you had, you kind of emulated your business from when you were a pastor and building the church, but did you have a mentor? Like, is your broker your mentor? I know your wife's your biggest cheerleader, but do you have a mentor that really kind of helped you and guided you through your early success and maybe even up to today?
Yeah, I mean, I've been with 2 different companies now. In the handful of years that I've been doing this, and at my first company, my broker definitely saw my vision. He bought into what I was doing, and I definitely leaned on him for a lot of stuff. Can I even do this? Is this realistic? And he's like, you can do whatever you can put your mind to. Like, just go for it. Is kind of what he said to me. He was so good that he even was willing to finance some of my crazy, like outside of the box ideas, so, coming into the business, you're not, it takes a while to kind of get going. So, if I needed, a couple $1,000s to pull something off, he saw the vision and what we were doing, and he made it happen. And I would still be with him today, but, he sold the company. So.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Hence you moved.
Yeah. But
Tina, you got to.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say, like, the other thing too is I believe in coaching. So like, I knew that social media wise, I had a good idea of how to execute social media. But what I ended up finding is a coach that showed me how to convert leads on social media, not just create content. Creating content is like one thing, but if you're just creating content, but you're not like focused on conversions, why are you creating the content? And like, so this coach was all about converting. He didn't really care about the content. So I had the content, now I needed to convert, and that's how that meshed.
Okay. So this is someone outside your brokerage.
Yeah.
This is someone you hired separately. Okay. Yeah. You can never, invest in your education enough, for sure. So Tina, you got to ask Alex what these crazy ideas that he was coming up with.
Yeah.
Because I thought the pumpkin one was a little crazy, but he's got better ones than that, it sounds.
Well, yeah, I mean, for sure, Alex. Are there other crazy ideas you'd like to share? I know the audience would be very interested in them.
Well,
I am.
Well, I think like what I did is I hyper localized my business. So when I realized that like farming worked, and this little neighborhood, 356 houses that I was farming, when I very quickly kind of got a grasp of that neighborhood, I was like, why can't I expand this? So I upset a lot of people as a new guy coming into the business, but I started branding myself as the face of SCV Real Estate, which means Santa Clarita Valley, and heavy marketing. I collaborated with all the local like Instagram pages. I collaborate with all the local businesses in Santa Clarita. And now, I mean, in the beginning, real estate agents were like, who is this guy calling himself that? Now these real estate agents actually call me that, right? So it's just like I faked it till I made it, and I created. So, but there was a lot of like energy and money and marketing poured into that campaign of becoming the face of SCV Real Estate. I think that I was willing to kind of make a very big gamble to create that face of SCV Real Estate, I guess, idea, and turned it into what it is now.
Yeah, talk about creating a personal brand. Just absolutely incredible. I love it. So you're doing this, you're rocking it, right? Like you're building your brand, you're the face of the real estate. Like, what were the challenges? Like, that's all the good stuff. What were some of the tough things that you had as you were getting started your first year?
Yeah, I mean, as most real estate agents know, this is a very like up and down roller coaster business, and in real life, I get seasick, and I don't like the waves of the business. So that was a huge challenge of like having these really, really high highs and then really, really low lows when there's no business coming, especially that first year. And I think the biggest challenge of all is just comparison. So I spent a lot of time early on looking at my contemporaries, what they're posting, what they're doing, the business, the production that they have, and looking at what I'm not doing and saying, oh man, I'll never be like that. I'll never get. And even to this day, sometimes it creeps in where I see like the number one producer in my entire city. And I'm like, man, I don't know how he gets to that level. But at some point, that was so detrimental to my own like growth, professional growth, that I made a conscious decision to unfollow every single real estate agent on social media, which is almost like it's almost like a death roll for like people in the business, because most real estate agents are just liking other real estate agents' content. And if you look at it, it's like all like 50 of those likes are all other agents, right? But I didn't want to see it. I don't want to compare. I don't want to see anything that they were doing. You can copy me. I'm not going to copy you. I'm going to just focus on people. And all of my content is not about real estate. It's about the people in the community.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah, I love that. And so there are these ups and downs. There still are, right? They were there your first year. They're still there. How did you balance that? How did you learn to be disciplined and balance yourself through the ups and downs in real estate?
Yeah, I alluded to it earlier. It's really important that this is like a 9 to 5 at the very minimum, right? I have kids, I have a wife, so I'm not the agent that works like late hours or, I'll do open houses on the weekend, but I definitely give myself like family time and space. But I don't like slack during the day. So like, I'm not the guy that like gets up, starts my day at 11 or 10. Like I'm up, I'm working by, no later than 8:30 a.m. I'm doing calls. I have a very structured schedule. I think once I like bought into that and I made sure that like that's part of my day-to-day routine, Monday through Friday at the very minimum, it helped me with some of those challenges.
Yeah, I would imagine it would. So any particularly unique or challenging transactions your first year?
Unique or challenging? That's a good question. I think that my second transaction was a land deal, and that was weird because I didn't even think about land deals, but I was door knocking my neighborhood, and this older gentleman is like, I have some land I don't want. Like, if you can sell that, I'll sell my house in 6 months. And I was like, okay, challenge accepted. And, I knew nothing about land. I had to like really kind of look into it and see how. I don't even know how to market a piece of land, but I got really lucky because I ended up finding somebody who like a local business owner who really wanted land to grow, to do whatever she wanted to do with it. And so I ended up double ending that particular land deal, which led to like my first actual listing, because the gentleman was like, hey, if you can sell this plot of land, we'll list my house later. So that was cool, just because it was kind of that my first repeat business, which I wasn't expecting so soon.
Yeah. Congratulations. So it sounds like you're all about the people. You like the service. You like helping others. Are there any client stories that are particularly touching to you, or any clients that you've turned into maybe a lifelong friend?
Yeah, I mean, I do keep in contact with almost everybody that, we transact with, as long as they're nice, at the end. So yeah, a lot of my clients are actually like really good friends of mine now. My first, I would say, handful of clients were mostly people my age. I'm in my mid 30s. They were first time home buyers, just kind of buying. So there were a lot of similarities, with the people that were helping on the buy side. And so I don't have one particular story where it's like, man, this is great. I mean, I think that I have built relationships with so many of my clients that they show up to the events that we do, even if they're not like in the actual farm. Like, they're very supportive. They send me referrals. They're always like reposting content for me. And I kind of knew early on I wanted to involve my clients in the social media content thing. One, because I knew that they would be like cheerleaders for life because they're going to repost and tell their friends. And I was able to kind of circle prospect their friends and family through it. But at the same time, I think I make them feel special with some of the stuff we do. I mean, if you buy a house with me, and we go all the way to the end, like we document the journey, we create a really nice video for you guys. We do everything for them to make them feel like they're special. It's not just like, oh, sold the house, we're done, you know?
Nice.
Very good. So how long have you had your license in, Alex? Is it 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
Is this your third? Okay, nice. So 3 years are down. What do you see yourself in the next 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Are you still going to are you going to expand out, add people to your team? What's your plan?
Yeah, I'm not the team guy. I don't foresee like a team thing happening. I mean, I really want to be doing like 75, 80. I don't know. Like, I think that this year I'm really pushing to do 45 to 50 transactions.
That's a lot. And you're by yourself.
Yeah, by myself.
All by yourself?
I mean,
okay.
I have like VAs, like virtual assistants, and they do like day-to-day stuff for me. But
sure.
But yeah, 45 is the goal. I have a feeling I'm going to get closer to 50. So 45 to 50 is the goal this year. And
that's great.
But I don't know. I feel like I need to have like 75 to 100 transactions before I think about adding somebody on. Even when I'm really busy, I still have time in my day, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think that's important. You have 3 daughters too, right?
I have 4.
4 daughters. Okay. I have 3 daughters and 1 son. And I think that's one thing is like, you can, it's great to be busy and make money, but it's about balance, because your kids are all, what's the age range, Alex?
My oldest is 16 and my youngest is 10.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're similar. So like, I always say like, you got to make money, but you got to have balance because they're going to be out of the house one day. Then you can work on 100 transactions and bring a team on. So I totally respect that. So yeah, good for you. Good for you. So I guess before I hand it back over to Tina, you gave a lot of tips and tricks, but is there any like, I know the 9 to 5 thing, like treat it like a job. That's great. Is there any specific tips or tricks you want to say, hey guys, a couple caveats, and we won't tell your other local agents there in Southern LA. No, we'll keep it over here in Ohio for me.
I don't mind. There's enough. There's definitely enough to go around locally.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people in my community or maybe contemporaries in real estate, they definitely consider me like the social media guy. I think that I'm well known for that. That's like probably my claim to fame out here when it comes to socials.
Got it.
So if I gave anybody,
it's a lot of work too.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
Well,
everyone knows what you're doing is great, but they just don't do it. Does that seem like the issue you have, like young agents? They know they're supposed to do it, but they just don't take the time to do it.
Yeah, well, I think it's similar to farming. I think that with social media in particular, you think you're going to post a video and you're going to get all these leads, or sometimes people even just post content because they want likes in it, but not for the lead, which doesn't make sense. The only reason you're posting the content is for the lead, right? So with social media, what I do tell a lot of people is content is king. So you have to make content and you have to be consistent about it, but engagement is the queen. And no good kingdom is just a king by themselves, so you have to make content and also engage. So you got to take time out of your day to connect with people on social, not just post and forget. If you're just posting your sales and walking away, you're not doing social media. You're just, I don't know what, you're just posting stuff, But if you take the time to go on people's social media channels, talk to them, respond to them, like their stuff,
interact.
Yeah. It's in my schedule. I do it an hour and a half every single morning. And I have a VA that does it for me as well, because it's so important. That's how my content is seen. I mean, that's how the algorithms work. If you're engaging, then you're all of a sudden you're in their feed.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, excellent advice, especially for individuals who are just getting started. So that great stuff. Alex, we're going to jump into the lightning round. I'm going to ask you some questions. Give me your immediate answer, 60 seconds or less. We'll learn a little bit more about you. So is there a book or a podcast that you would recommend that you've listened to or you've read?
Rejection Proof by, I don't remember how to pronounce his name, Jiang, I think. He's a American Chinese guy. A great book because, especially for real estate agents, because what this guy did is he was so scared of being rejected that he decided for 30 days that he was going to just ask people the most outlandish things and ask for things. And he documented all of it. And like crazy stuff, like he would knock on someone's door and say, "Hey, can I play soccer in your backyard?" And and like he documented the whole thing. And by the end of his experiment, he was so rejection proof that he could ask and do anything. And I think when I read that book, I was like, I'm not scared to make the call. I'm not scared to door knock. Like it's all good. If they say no, it's just a no. We just move on.
Mm-hmm. Is this a podcast or a book?
So it's
a movie.
It's a book that is also a podcast that is also a YouTube channel where he like it's all one experiential like thing.
Got it.
So you can actually watch
check that
documents. Video. He makes video of every single rejection, so you can see him knock on the door. He went to Krispy Kreme's and asked if they can create a donut for him with the Olympic rings, and they looked at him like he was crazy, but they did it. Like they actually created this special donut for him. And he was just a guy. It wasn't like he had a big production company or he was paying them. He was just a guy with a camera. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. That's great. I bet there are some tips in there, not just for how to be rejection proof, but how to be influential and negotiate as well, right?
Absolutely.
Charisma.
That's great.
Charisma.
Yeah, I don't know that one. Alex, if we had a time machine and you could go back to the day you started this journey, what might you do differently or what advice would you give yourself?
If I would have learned earlier, like before my 6-month mark, to stop comparing myself, I think that I would have probably done a lot more. I spent a lot of time like not executing what I wanted to do because I felt like that's not what a real estate agent does, or that's not what that guy's doing, or trying to copy somebody else's thing and it's not like my thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you've definitely found your thing and your brand, and I've even heard about that. So that's great. If you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Yeah, I'm a prisoner of the moment. So a lot of people here know that I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. He's a rapper that just did the Super Bowl. Yeah, so I think he has a unique artistic approach to everything he does, and I'd want to pick his brain. His layers and entendres to what his music is like so deep that I just want to ask him a lot of questions.
Yeah, and Alex, am I right in that you did some rapping as well?
Oh yeah. How did you know that?
Oh, Tina knows everything.
I know things, Alex. I know things.
So
believe me, Alex, she knows a lot.
So early on when I had mentioned like I'm that guy that career jumps, yeah, I mean I started out as like an underground local like rapper who jumped into property management, who jumped into being a pastor, who jumped into real estate. So like these are huge like transitions for me that don't make a lot of sense, but they do if you really think about the nuance of them.
Yeah, I mean, what a great life and a great bunch of experiences that all sort of come together and merge to build where you are today. I love it, and I'm glad you mentioned it.
Tina, this is when we should have put some old performance of Alex, like queued it up and shown everyone at home some of his dance moves.
We might
That's how
have
he's
to
getting
do
those
that.
clients. He's rapping and dancing for them. That's how he's
He
getting
said
them.
rapper. He didn't say dance. I don't know about that one.
Oh, okay, that's true.
Oh, Alex. Alex, what'd you do at work yesterday?
Yesterday, I door knocked for about 4 hours. I created some graphics for the door knocking, made a couple phone calls, and followed up with some current transactions that are going on right now.
Sounds like a good day.
Very boring. Very boring.
Yeah. Very boring. A closing table's always better, right? But you got to do the work to get there, which clearly you've done. Where can listeners or viewers connect with you, follow your journey? Can you share some information on how to stay in touch?
Yeah. Instagram is the best medium, in my opinion. Just search my name, Alex Hollander. It'll pop up for sure. I think that if you're an agent, you'll get something out of my social media content. I don't make it for you, but I encourage you, if you like the stuff that I'm putting out, steal it, use it. Like, it's localized. It's localized content, and it's very easy to reproduce if you just take the time to do it. So go on Instagram, search me up, and yeah.
I love
Very
it.
good. Well, Alex, thanks for coming on today. Alex Hollander, rapper, pumpkin getter, preacher, real estate agent, crushing it, Southern California. So thank you. I know your story's great. You've closed a lot of deals, and I know a lot of people at home that's listened to this is going to enjoy it and get a lot of tips. So I think your social media is great, and I can't wait to check it out more. So thanks again. Thanks for coming on with us.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. We hope today's stories and insights inspired you to take that next step in your real estate journey. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode, or head over to our channel to see some of the other content we've produced. We'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway or a question for our next guest. If you have a recommendation for someone we should interview, please send a note to UnlockingRealEstate@ColibriRealEstate.com.